Hey everybody, Sarah here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in Resident Evil Resistance, going for the Meddling Kids achievement. This one's going to be a survivor side achievement. It's going to be a team-based achievement. It is to destroy a bioweapon 3 times in one game. So make sure you get into the game. The best team composition for this is going to be January, so she can buy special weapons. You're going to want Jill and Becca for their firepower, and then you're going to want Valerie for her healing. It's going to be recommended that you attempt this whenever playing against an Alex, simply because she has the easiest bioweapon to defeat. So make sure you get into the game. It's going to be very important that everyone buys the right loadout. You are going to want the Valerie player to be the main objective runner during the first stage. So she's going to buy a machine gun and then the appropriate ammo to go along with it. You are going to want the January player, if they are running the arsenal ability, to buy a special weapon. And then you're going to want to have the Becca and the Jill player stock up on any flammable weapons. So Molotovs and torches are going to come recommended. Then you're going to want to get into the first stage. For the most part, it's going to play like normal, simply because it's going to be too early for the mastermind player to get their bioweapon. So more likely than not, you're going to finish the objective and then unlock the door to proceed on to the next stage before they have time to charge it up. Everyone's going to proceed to stage 2, and we're going to get to our loadout. We're going to pretty much stock up on that same strategy we had from the first stage. So make sure you have the January player use the arsenal ability to grab a special weapon. You're going to want to have the Becca and the Jill continue to stock up on flammable weapons, and you're going to want the Valerie player to load up on ammo. Valerie's going to deal with the objective for the second stage. About halfway through or so should be the time where the mastermind gets their bioweapon card, so make sure everyone else is going to be ready to deal with the bioweapon. For the most part, you should be able to handle the bioweapon with 2 people, so make sure you do keep that in mind. However, having all 4 jump on them is going to be way more efficient. That being said, you definitely want to have the Valerie player deal with the objective, as we're going to want to save our ammo for dealing with the bioweapon. So Valerie is going to take point, and then they're going to be on the lookout for the security guard zombie, and then also disarm the traps, and then deal with any of the regular zombies. Once you find the security guard zombie, you're going to want to take it out. Of course, if you are boosting this, you can just have the friendly mastermind player take control of it. That way they are just standing still. Remember, you can only damage a security guard zombie in the head, so make sure you aim high and then only go for headshots, as the rest of its body is going to be armored. Once you defeat the security guard zombie, you're going to want to have the January player pick up the security card. They are going to be the ones to run to disable all of the terminals. The reason for that is the mastermind is most likely going to target them with the bioweapon. They should be getting the card somewhere around this point, so definitely do keep an eye out for them. The Becca and the Jill are going to help defend the January, and the Valerie player is going to stay back and then keep an eye out for terminals. So make sure you split the group up like that. You're going to want to have all of the firepower players together, as Valerie is probably going to be low on ammo from dealing with the security guard zombie. So you're going to basically stay back and scout the terminals. Of course, if you are boosting this with a friendly mastermind player, they can tell you the locations of all of the terminals, which is going to save you a little bit of time. Now, once the mastermind player drops in the bioweapon, you're going to want to use this strategy to defeat it as quickly as possible. You're going to want to have the Becca player use their ultimate ability, which is going to give them infinite ammo, and they're just going to unload using the machine gun on the bioweapon. While this is happening, the January player is going to throw Molotovs at the bioweapon, and then the Jill player, if they are going to be helping out, is going to hit the bioweapon with torches. Once Becca's ultimate expires, you're going to want to have January switch to their special weapons, and they're going to use that to further damage the bioweapon, as the Becca player is going to then switch off to using their fire weapons. So again, Molotovs first, and then once everyone is out of ammo and throwables, switch to torches and just melee it to death. It is going to be weak against fire, so you should be able to take it out rather quickly, even if you only have 2 people working on it. You can also try to have the Valerie player help out if they still do have any ammo. However, they should be running pretty low after dealing with the security guard zombie. You can also have Valerie run ammo to the actual fighters, or you can have them stay back and use their healing ultimate ability. Nevertheless, the first one should go down rather easily, since you do have a ton of firepower to work with. Once it's dealt with, just make sure you wrap up the objective on the second stage, and then we're going to head on over to the third stage. Remember to use Valerie's ultimate if you need healing, and make sure you try to get the group in its area of effect so you get the most out of it. Alright, on to stage 3. We definitely don't want to be in a rush to escape, as we're going to need to deal with 2 bioweapons on this stage to get ourselves to the 3 total. So for the loadout, it's going to be the same thing as we've been doing. It's going to be ammo on Valerie. Then you're going to put fire weapons first on the Becca and the Jill. Ammo second, because they need to play the objective as well. And then you're going to want to have the January player grab a special weapon. If the January player is going to be inundated with special weapons, you can also have them drop them for the other players. That way everyone has a special weapon to work with for the most part. And then just make sure you get into the game. Obviously, playing the objective is going to be important, as that's going to put more time on the clock. But of course, if you are just going for the achievement, your goal is to not escape. So we're going to try to keep this 3rd stage going as long as we can, so the mastermind can get 2 uses of their bioweapon card. So more likely than not, they're going to get their bioweapon to drop in towards the beginning of this stage. The reason for that is stage 3 is going to have the fastest charge on the mastermind's ability. So make sure you keep an eye out for it. Try to keep the group together the best you can. Of course, if you do need time, make sure you do have one person work on the objective at least, so you are keeping that clock going. But once the bioweapon drops in, we're going to continue our strategy. Make sure you just empty your bullets onto it first, then make sure you take advantage of your firepower. If you are running low on one or the other, just make sure you save it for the 3rd bioweapon. So make sure you do keep that in mind. But again, this thing isn't going to be too impossible to deal with just 2 people. So if you want to split the load up, make sure you have 2 people work on the bioweapon while you have 2 other people work on the objective. And then for the 3rd and final bioweapon, just make sure you switch out. So make sure you put 2 people on the bioweapon and then 2 other people on the objective going the other way. And that should take care of the spread. Now, if you are boosting this with a friendly mastermind player, make sure you try to keep the fight as close to the spawn room as possible. That way we aren't going to need to go too far in order to restock on resources, thankfully. Remember, once it's taken care of, do have the Valerie player pick up the team using their healing, so make sure you use her ultimate, and then make sure you try to squeeze everyone into its area of effect, and then everyone can get back to full health. And also do take this time to restock on ammo, because we are going to need a ton of it for not only the 3rd bioweapon fight, but also to keep the objective going. So make sure you take care of that with all of the players. So make sure you do your best to stall the game out, continue to play the objective, but make sure you don't make a big attempt to escape. You should just have enough time for the mastermind to get their 3rd bioweapon card. They're going to drop it in, and then everyone's going to use the rest of their firepower to take it out. I am definitely going to recommend you save the big guns for this fight, as you are not going to have a ton of time to work with, as you are going to be running low, since we aren't going to be pressing super hard to escape. So make sure you stick to those fire weapons first and foremost, and then everyone's just going to dump all of the rest of their ammo that they have on this thing. So hopefully everyone has torches, bare minimum, as you're probably going to get the most uses out of those once you are out of Molotovs and bullets. And just make sure you smack this thing to death, and hopefully it can burn to death before time runs out. But you should be able to defeat all 3, cutting it pretty close, and if you can pull it off in one game, you should be good for the achievement. Everyone on the team should unlock it regardless of contribution. This one's going to be for 15 gamer score, and that's all there is to it.